Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Alain. Book Saturday today. Going to talk about one book, Red Zone Prime by Jerry Wetzel. So this is a book we're going to talk about today, A Foundation for Personal Protection. One of the books I've just finished reading. We'll get to that in a moment. First, I want to just say thank you to everybody that watches, listens to the podcast, listens or watches replays. Appreciate all of you. Hope you enjoyed yesterday's show. Had a special guest, Phil Ross. Had fun talking with him. Had out some good stuff. If you didn't catch that episode, you can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Facebook or LinkedIn, or go to enjoylifesafely.com. Videos there in the blog, audio's there at the podcast page. While you're there, download one of the free ebooks. Get on the mailing list. You'll get the Sunday Enjoy Life Safely newsletter, tips on staying safe, self-defense, enjoying life, living with the warrior's edge, and being exceptional. A lot of good stuff in that newsletter every week, so make sure you get on that list. EnjoyLifeSafely.com. I shared a picture on social media this morning. Wanted to share it here too. Saying you don't have time to read is simply prioritizing other things as more important. Because that's people say, don't have time to read, don't have time to exercise, don't have time to do all these things we know we should be doing that would improve our lives. That's because we have the wrong priorities. Saying you don't have time to read is simply prioritizing other things as more important. And that's true with anything in life. We all have the same amount of time. It's how we prioritize that time. If we prioritize reading, we're going to get reading into our day. If we prioritize exercise, we're going to find time and make time to exercise during our day. Whatever we prioritize is how we're going to focus our time. If we don't prioritize anything except watching reruns or this or that on TV, that's where we're going to spend our time. I encourage you to prioritize reading and include reading in your daily life. Learned that years and years and years ago from Jim Rohn, who said if you're not reading 2 books a week in 10 years, you're going to be 1,000 books behind. I took that to heart, and I make sure that I read over 100 books every year. Now, some of those books I listen to, because when I'm in my car, I'm either listening to audiobooks on CD, because I got a CD player in my car because I got so many CDs, educational stuff. I like to listen to them. But I also have an Audible account, so sometimes I'm listening to Audible. My phone hooks up to my car as well, the Bluetooth. So one way or another, I'm listening to something educational when I'm in the car. When I'm out shoveling snow, I got the phone in the pocket, the earbuds. I'm listening to something educational. But I also do a lot of reading. And I read Kindle and paper. I encourage you to do the same. You don't have to read as much as I do, but read. Read for enjoyment, read for education. It's so much out there. There is so much out there that can improve your life. And it's there for free. If you go to the library, you can often get Kindle books for free. Greg Ellifretz every other Thursday posts a bunch of free ebooks that you can get on Amazon on that day. They don't stay free for long sometimes, so you got to get them quick. But my Kindle probably has over 1,000, if not 2,000 books. Because when I see those lists by Greg, I said, oh, that looks good, that looks good. And I download them all for free, and I get to them as I can. So money's not a choice. Time is usually what people say. I don't have time to read. And that's a priority thing. Enough sermon on that. Dixon's here. Good morning, Dixon. Hell, even if you're illiterate nowadays, there are audiobooks, so there's no excuse. Exactly. And I'm a big fan of audiobooks. I think there's a different thing that goes on with your brain. I mean, I've read about it and studied about it. When you read a physical book, your brain is different than when you're listening to an audiobook. That's why I like to read a lot of paper too. But both of them, you can get a lot of entertainment, a lot of education through either medium. Use them both. Enough of that. Let's talk about this one. Jerry Wetzel, Red Zone Prime, A Foundation for Personal Protection. Found this to be a good little book. You know, I heard about Jerry Wetzel from Greg Ellifritz talking about his knife work and his knife course, which I have not seen yet. Something I might pick up and study and learn a little bit more about. I trust Greg, and if Greg's recommending it, probably, you know, a good program. But I found this book by Jerry, wanted to check it out. So I got it from Amazon. Found some good basic advice. You know, if you've been studying this stuff and you have a huge library like I do, not a lot that was new, worded a little bit different, a little bit of different take in how we presented some stuff, but definitely some solid, good information to build that personal protection foundation, which is what he's setting out to do. You know, talking about fear, talking about stress, talking about intuition and situational awareness, a lot of the same things I talk about. You know, talking about having a stance that's non-aggressive and so forth, and why you do that, talking about footwork. He has the basic where he covers and crashes in as a defensive move, which is a solid principle-based move that if you didn't know anything else, just knowing this could protect you and put you in an offensive position to do some damage and then escape to safety. So I found it to be a good little book with some good information. Again, is it everything? No. I mean, it's only 150 pages long. So it's a quick, easy read, but it will give you a good little foundation for personal protection like he says it will. So I did like this book as an addition to my huge self-defense martial art library. So especially if you're new to kind of stuff, really good primer. For those of us that, you know, study everything we can study, you know, it's one more to add, a little bit more. Because even reading about things that you know, reading about them again, reinforce, maybe you see, oh, he talks about it just a little bit differently than I've talked about it. So changes your perception, makes you better, especially when you teach this stuff. So good book. That's the only one I'm sharing today. Hope you have a spectacular Saturday. I will be back tomorrow and hope to see you then.